Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. Here
Yeah.
we are for the third time.
Yes, track number 3 from the
Mm.
Witches, Bitches, and Goddesses album. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I would say this one really makes me the most excited, but at the same time most uncomfortable.
Mm,
And the track was doing that since its first note.
yeah, this is true. I feel that as well. I definitely feel that. I get excited when I hear it because I remember the recording, when we were in the studio recording it, and it was a lot of fun to record. But also listening back, it's like, whoa, we went there. So I'm
Yeah.
intrigued to hear how people perceive it.
Um, yeah, for me, yeah, the recording part was, I would say, the most comfortable part out of the whole process of
Hmm.
creation and distraction. Yeah, I remember the struggles to put the song together
Hmm.
for the performance, to have the arrangement, all of that. Oof, that one. And I don't really know why, but
Yeah,
it really felt like a struggle. Um, but yeah, should we listen to it and then
yeah. We can have a
so
chat
we,
afterwards.
yeah, so we let in the audience in what we are talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. incubation, creative formation, form of destruction, destructive organization, organized accident as a dawn of accidental creation, creative formation, form of destruction, destructive organization, organized accident as a dawn of accidental creation, creative formation, form of destruction, destructive organization, organized accident as a dawn of accidental creation, incognition of formation, scheduled destruction, introduction to letting go.
Well,
Okay. Did I stop sharing?
you did. You did.
Okay. And how do I turn this off now? What's happening? My Zoom is frozen.
Oh no. I'm still seeing you, and
Yeah?
yeah,
Okay.
you're not frozen.
Yeah, the screen froze for me, so
Okay.
did not react. Okay. Um,
Let's unpack that.
so yeah, I would also like to ask everyone present in the chat, what do you think the song is about and how did you perceive it? What are your associations? Because yeah, it would be interesting to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How does it come through? And now for us, yes, the relationship between creation and destruction.
Mm-hmm. Was that a question?
Opening of a chapter.
Okay, okay. I like it. Yeah, I mean, it's such a vast topic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that we talked a lot about like the necessity sometimes for destruction in order to be able to like enable creation then, you know, and that destruction is always again this like perceived negative thing. And to destroy something is perceived as a negative thing, but it isn't always. And usually, I think probably everybody relates to the experience that when you have an absolutely crappy time, it usually precedes a really good time, you know, because of your perception of things or your the scale on which you've been experiencing things. And so yeah, again, coming back to this like cyclical thing, not even mirror image because yeah, it's not a duality thing, right? Again, it's like a spectrum of something.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it as a continuation of a cycle more
Mm-hmm.
than a mirror thing
Yeah.
in this instance. Um, and yeah, it gave me the picture now when you were talking. Yeah, if we have compost, we put it for new flowers, new seeds, new
Yeah.
plants to grow, and it's this birth and death, and how can we perceive the death of something as also something that will bring new life in a
Mm-hmm.
different form.
Yeah.
For me, it's also interesting. I've heard that I not able to quote it because I don't remember where it's from, but that the energy, like the inner satisfaction when you create something and when you destroy something, it gives you the same feeling,
Mm.
and it comes from the same impulse. And also why it's important to give kids opportunity to create things, because otherwise they were gonna go and destroy things,
Mm.
because this
Oh,
impulse
that's
needs to
lovely.
be
Yeah.
experienced.
I never heard that, but that makes a lot of sense. Um, and I think it's like maybe in Buddhism, there's like these monks that create, like, what do you call them?
Mandalas.
Yes, thank you. Very often with like flowers or in sand or these kind of things. And they'll spend hours and hours in meditation creating these gorgeous things. Something similar to like what we have in the background, even, these like fractalized sort of like detailed images. And then at the end, whenever that is, they just destroy it.
Mm.
I think there's something so powerful about that. I think because, art is kind of commodified now and it's so much about the product. It's less and less something that we would perceive in that way. I think maybe in the process, maybe it's easier to create something and destroy something like as part of the process. But it's so funny to me actually that we create, let's say, like an album as we have done, and then that just exists forever. Like that's kind of mad because nothing
Yeah.
exists forever. Everything has a cycle. Yeah.
Um, I was listening to you, and my mind was actually going to the same place, um, and thinking, yeah, the creation itself cannot be destroyed, just the product of creation gets
Mm,
destroyed. And I think it's very easily to confuse those two, where we feel that if the product is destroyed, kind of that we are
mm,
unable to create, which is not true. Like that
yeah.
process stays forever also, like because we experienced it and that experience stays with us and
Mm,
cannot be destroyed. um, but yeah, the product of creation can be easily destroyed. And then again, the question, where do you put the emphasis? What is your priority? And in what situation is what priority? Because I would say there is no not right answer. Not that, yeah, the process is always more important or the product is always more important. It depends on the context, but
mm-hmm.
maybe just to have that awareness that we can still choose
Yeah.
in which context which one we prioritize, because if that gets messed up, I think that's when we suffer, when the
Yeah.
destruction comes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. I feel like I need to sit and journal on this topic now for a little bit because it's opening up all of these kind of doors for me. Um, Yeah, I watched a video yesterday of these producers talking about producing music and people having a perception that they only ever produce hits. And they were like, no, 90% of what I make never sees the light of day. You see the 10% because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to show you. And that's it. That
Mm-hmm.
happens to be the good song or the hit or whatever. Um, and yeah, I feel like, the artist process is a lot of that iteration after iteration after iteration, and just then making that decision of what becomes the product then. But that process is like you say, it's ongoing. It's always there. Yeah, I have to sit with that for a while.
Yeah, it is powerful topic and very wide topic. Um, so maybe to narrow it down a little bit
Mm-hmm.
in the context of our album and the cycle we were referring to, um, we also placed the songs and made the story to in a way reflect the woman's cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we did start with middle of the winter, and then we moved with the siren to a bit more of a spring feeling, um, and towards the ovulation. And for me, this moment of creation and destruction really does represent ovulation highlight, where it's the most fertile period to create,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time things get destroyed
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
when the creation does not happen. So
Happen,
um, and it is this crazy phase, very extroverted,
yeah. Mm. Yeah.
um, yeah, with maybe at times even feels like having more layer, like you really experience these layers inside of yourself, and I would say in a different way than when it's premenstrual, because then we really go
Yeah.
deep and we feel those kind of layers. But here I liked how we did with the improvisation. I'm getting a bit now all over the place. I feel my sentences are not really coherent.
We're
Sorry for
following.
that. But yeah, like the way we were also putting our improvisations together, where like it is the front and then the background thing and what's happening in our mind and our processes, and then we kind of change and the other one comes to the front, and
Mm-hmm.
the one who was in the front is now in this back process. And I really like
Yeah.
that game that we did there, and for me it reflects perfectly the highlight of ovulation.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like that's a tagline for that song, you know? Um, yeah, I was curious what were you, if you remember, what were your thoughts when you were improvising? Like, was that something in your mind? Were you trying to like channel that as a narrative in your
um
as you were improvising?
I would say, yeah, in a way, yes. Maybe not in that literal sense as we're talking now.
Mm-hmm.
As I felt like there was no you know what, I'm just realizing that I have this overhead light on and
Mm-hmm.
I'm very bothered by it. So if
Do you want to turn it
everyone
off?
can excuse me, yes, just for a second.
Okay. I'll talk to myself here. Oh,
Hmm.
that was very quick. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's a small room. um but yeah, I did try to concentrate on this process of creation and how can that reflect in this giving birth of something,
Mm.
um, and these multiple levels of being creative. It can be rational, it can be emotional, it can be very physical,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know like creating the even the music piece. Well, for us specifically, it is suffering
Mm.
sometimes. It is really suffering.
Yeah.
But and the moment you finish and it's this relief, and then you experience deep of like nothing makes sense anymore, because what's
Mm.
your purpose of life? Now you have nothing to live for. Uh,
I feel so seen right now.
but then like you sleep over it, the next day you're ready to start again and go through the torture again, and
Yeah.
it can maybe be 1 week if you have a deadline, or it tortures you for 6 months
Yeah.
if there is no deadline.
Oh my God, that's so powerful what you just said. It's so true. I have like halves of songs lingering in the back drawers of my mind for like 5 and 6 years, and they're just like, finish me, finish me.
And then like
Yeah.
the other voice, not today, no,
Yeah.
no,
I've
not
got too much
today.
to do today.
I need to post things on Instagram.
Let's not go there. That's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, just a disclaimer, that was not a reference of people posting on Instagram or trashing in any way. It is the thing that we feel that we need
Yeah.
to do and we don't want to do, and it was
Mm.
reference to that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, just so we are
That's even harder
clear.
than the music, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yes, so I was trying to have that in mind when improvising,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of create the image of creating a song.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, it's such an abstract way, isn't it? I mean, but that's just the medium of what we're doing, I suppose. But like, yeah, trying to tell a wordless story about a concept through your voice. Um, and just your voice, because I was very aware listening to that you know, when we have when we have a gig, we're triggering these kind of different elements of the song at certain times. So we're communicating with each other, we're watching each other. We know like this is the point where we're going to change to this different drone or this different rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very communicative. And then we also have like a physical sort of ritual, let's say, that we present in the middle of this song, which is where the alarm clock goes off, and then you'll have to come to a show to see what happens at that point. But um, so there's a very like visual element to what we're hearing. So it's really interesting for me to just hear that without all of this visual element. So for that reason, I'm also really keen to know what people have been writing in the chat about how they perceive it. You know, um, yeah, it's a. I mean, I think this is one of the reasons I love music so much. It's so like intangible, and you can tell a story without using words, um, and just using your body. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But I hope that that's coming across as well to the listener, what we were trying to, the message we were trying to share, or the message we were like exploring, you know. And I will say, I had so much fun recording that as well, because I remember you recorded your part first. And then, because, so just to give people a context, we're in like a live room. So it's just one big room. And we had both of the microphones set up at kind of different sides of the room so that we could sing in harmony in certain parts of other songs. Or I was doing a part and then Yelena was doing another part. And in this song, because it was so dynamic, it didn't make sense to improvise in the same space, because we'd have various different like reflections happening, or if anything had to be edited, then my mic was going to be picking up too much of Yelena's voice and vice versa, all of that stuff. So it just made more sense to record them separately. So I remember you recorded yours first and then I recorded mine second. So I remember thinking, I think I had like sort of the easier job in that sense because I had something to like respond to. I felt like, oh, she's already saying something to me that I can give her back in a response, you know? Um, and yeah, just being able, there's something very special as well about being in a room on your own, even though I know yourself and Dorothea, who is our amazing engineer, were able to hear us, hear me. Just the ability to, or the just knowing that you're in a space on your own, you can physically do whatever you want. I just found myself going to places that I hadn't gone to before, and that was really liberating, which
Mm-hmm.
really for me was kind of
Which
which which yeah, no, that was the thing. But I mean, all of these experiences and processes are available to us, and I really genuinely, we can get into all that another time, but I do think that there's like healing in actually just physically moving energy through your body, you know.
mm-hmm.
And that's what we're doing when we're singing. And, you know, that's what we're doing more so in a context like this, when it was very, yeah, there's a very clear message. But it's just a raw expression of that message, I think. And
Yeah.
yeah, feeling comfortable enough in a space that felt safe enough to be able to just explore that was so liberating. And that to me is like what creation destruction is in my mind, you know? Um, yeah.
Um, I'm gonna um, tag on the message part, And maybe if anyone interested, I can read the lyrics
Mm-hmm.
that we have after the improvised part.
Yeah.
As yeah, our time is again like wow,
We
feels
talk a lot.
faster and faster. Yeah, every time. Okay, so it is a little play of the words where each line is actually made of the last word of the previous line, so kind of to build a spiral
Mm-hmm.
and to create upon that. Um, it goes like this: accidental creation, creative formation, form of destruction, destructive organization, organized accident as a dawn of accidental creation. And then we go on, repeating the same cycle: incognition of formation, scheduled destruction, introduction to letting go. And then the alarm clock would go there off. And for me, I would say, yeah, exactly that part, that last sentence. I always do have this picture of mandala being destroyed,
Mm.
of like you went through this process, the suffering, the creation, and let's say, yeah, the creation is never linear. Like it's so many drafts that get
Mm.
tossed away, so many ideas that get filtered, so it's never just one line. Okay, I start writing the piece, that's it until I
Yeah.
finish. So I feel they're already intertwined constantly, where you like create and edit and critique yourself, and but at the end, when you're finished, you need to let it go, even if that means
Mm.
blowing the sand away,
Mm-hmm.
or just like giving it out to the world and then allowing people to perceive it the way they want to perceive it, and to
Mm-hmm.
comment what they want to comment, and it becomes theirs because they experienced it in their way, and you're finished with that. Like for
Yeah.
me, a lot of times it does feel like, oh, did I write this? Like, are you sure? Like, because I don't feel it anymore in that way.
Mm.
Like, oh, I've wrote this. How did I do? Like, I have no idea. But in the process, I was very aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing actually how different those two feelings are when you're like completely engrossed in something, and then once it's released, you're like, that was a different me. Like I don't relate to that anymore,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's yeah,
yeah.
yeah, super interesting. Um well, I'm so mindful that we have to kind of finish up. I feel like we could keep talking about this for another hour, but
Yeah,
it's very nice to have you guys and gals here with us. We've had kind of some people coming back each week so far, and we really appreciate that. It's great, especially as we mentioned before, we're in different parts of the world. This is our moment to kind of come together and celebrate this whole process and this whole album. So it means a lot that you're here.
yeah.
So yeah, thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll join us again next week. We'll be talking about number 4, which is Mother. It's a kind of an extra special one because that is potentially going to be the first single release from the album.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, yeah, maybe that's the plan.
That's the plan.
Let's see if
Yeah,
it
yeah,
gets
yeah.
destroyed or created.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Yes, thanks to everyone. I really enjoyed, even after the last time, carrying on actually some of the conversations in
Mm-hmm.
private chats, and I felt that people got inspired, and also I got inspired again in return,
Yeah.
and it really filled my heart. So yeah, looking forward to see how this will develop. Thank you, everyone. Find us on Instagram, please, and
Yes.
share the word if you like these things. And if you have any questions, please share, because we want to interact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It would be great. I'm just thinking, spitballing, maybe the last time we're meeting, maybe we could meet all together on Zoom so that if people want to interact with
Oh,
us, we can see their lovely faces and chat in person.
yes.
Just an idea. We'll
Are you
throw it out
guys up
there.
for that?
Let us know. Yeah, let us know. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Have an
Thank you.
awesome day and until next
You
week.
too. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye.